comments made about Jamie Collins being a good fit for the Lions were made prior to his agreeing to go back to the Patriots. With that being said, coming up on this edition of the Die Hard Den podcast, we continue to tell you something good, positive news and notes from the Lions organization. We look at the rookie minicamp, remaining free agents, and the departure of one Ziggy Ansah. All this and more coming up on this edition of the Die Hard Den podcast. Here comes the roar. What up, though? And welcome to the Die Hard Den podcast. In the building, it's your man, Kurt Steele, holding it down with my homie. Say what's up, Big Sean.
Hey, guys, what's happening? Glad to be back. At this post rookie minicamp, we got a lot to get to today, don't we, Kurt?
Oh, yeah, we're going to unpack a lot of stuff today. So, all right, so let's get into it. First things up, as we always do at this time.
Tell me something good.
So I'm going to start this week. My Tell Me Something Good this week comes on a couple areas. One thing I have for Tell Me Something Good is my man, Quandre Diggs. There was a Lions fan. She's a big Twitter person, and she recently lost her signed Quandre Diggs jersey in a flood in Metro Detroit. And the Lions organization reached out to her. Tori Petrie, who we've been interviewed on the show before, reached out. They brought her to Allen Park, and waiting for her was not only she thought she was just going to pick up a jersey because he reached out to her on Twitter, said he was going to replace it, but he met her and signed the jersey right there in front of her, and they filmed the whole thing. The video is on Lions.com. Quandre Diggs is a stand-up dude. Always has been. Actually, his rookie, I think his second year in the league, I reached out to him by mail. Quick little letter. I mailed him something. Not only did he sign it, but he had the whole starting secondary sign it. So I have Quandre Diggs' signature on an item, along with Darius Slay, Nevin Lawson, and also Glover Quinn. So big shouts out to Quandre for being a stand-up dude. What you got, Seany J?
Well, I'm going to be a little outside the box with my Tell Me Something Good. It does relate to the Lions, though, and you'll see. Stay with me, people. Except for you fans of the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, I'm glad they lost in the playoffs once again this year. They made a lot of trades and everything, but the main thing is they really tanked and really stanked up the joint for years, trying to get number one picks, trying to get high draft picks, trying to get lottery picks, something that Lions fans want the Lions to do for years, including this past season. They want to see the Lions win it all. They were more than peeved that they won the last game at Green Bay. After years complaining about not winning Green Bay, Lions fans were complaining that we did win in Green Bay 2 years in a row. Thank you very much. They wanted to tank. They wanted the higher draft pick. Well, the Philadelphia 76ers proves that 99% of the time, tanking does not work. All these years, they didn't even win a division title yet, let alone an NBA title. So Philadelphia fans who want their teams to tank, the Sixers to tank, and for Lions and Piston fans who want a team to tank, this goes to show you tanking does not work. And, when, I want the Lions to win. I don't care if they're out of the playoffs. I still want them to play to win. The players' jobs, careers, and so as coaches are on the line. So I don't care about it. Give me a victory over a draft pick every day. And this just proves my point. Tanking does not work. And the Philadelphia 76ers are living proof of that. That's my Tell Me Something.
Yeah, like Herm Edwards say, when he say you play to win the game, you don't play to lose. Yeah, and then
you get paid too to win.
Yeah, and one more positive thing. My man Sam Martin again, he has stepped up. And several other Lions players they visited with Special Olympics at Macomb County. Awesome job supporting those Special Olympics athletes. Like I said before on the show, if you don't know, I have a son who has autism, and I'm a Special Olympics parent myself. So, and those athletes need the support. Sometimes that support from just individuals that's outside of their support group, because some of them don't get that support. Some of them live in group homes, and that interaction with other people in Special Olympics is the only outlet they have socially. So big ups to Sam Martin and the rest of the Lions that participated with the athletes out in Macomb County for their Special Olympics over the last week. So as we do it this time, it is time to go.
On the ball, set, go.
All right. On the ball this week, we're going to focus on the rookie minicamp. So I watched the limited tape, and really the one player that really stood out to me, just because of the fact that he had most of the camera time. There was very limited press for the rookie minicamp, which I could understand that. And there's not a lot of stuff that you can get from the rookie minicamp because they're on t-shirt and shorts. You know what I'm saying, Sean?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're just kind of going through drills. There's no 7-on-7. But TJ Hawkinson, man, he's bigger than what I thought he was. And he had some strong hands and good feet. So, I think there's a one shot of him just mauling the tackling dummy where he just, the tackling sled, he just pushes it over. So, that's what I saw. I mean, there's not a lot of stuff you can get out of that mini camp, but I mean, because there's limited press, but I mean, he was the guy that stood out to me the most. What you got, my man?
Right. Further before I go on, to piggyback on the TJ thing, all eyes were on TJ for obvious reasons. He was the 8th pick and a tight end. A lot of people groan when the Lions took another tight end after the experience.
Yeah.
Eric Ebron and Brandon Pettigrew. They pick that high. Mm-hmm. A lot of people didn't want to pick. I wasn't crazy about it, but I want the young man to do well. I want them to succeed. I want them to prosper. I want them to help our Lions win. Like I said, there's only so much you can get out of a minicamp, your rookie minicamp, or the combine, or just practicing it. Show kind of skills, the speed, maybe a little strength and agility. But does it translate to football success? Not always. And the thing else pointed, out is a minicamp. You see me posted in the group probably. The Lions cut the big 6'8" guy, Dino.
Yeah,
I
will
see him at least play, in preseason. Use that 6'8" size. He's going to be a tight end, he's a slot receiver. And the thing that me was the Lions cut him for a guy in the practice squad and a former lacrosse player. I said, are you kidding me? I mean, you got you signed for a little lacrosse player. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but they trying to say that they did with Chris Hogan in New England. I mean, he was the lacrosse player himself. So, I mean, I get it.
At least I want to see him play. I mean, like I said, you only get so much out of the mini camps and the practices, but I want to see him playing against competition preseason.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early though. I mean, you know how that stuff goes, man. They cut guys, they bring them back. I mean, we haven't even got to the actual. I mean, the next workouts are next week, so I mean, the rookies haven't even been with the vets yet, and I think the next camp isn't into June, the mandatory mini camp,
right?
And then before the break. So I mean, they got time. I mean, they'll make a lot more personnel moves before then. So they may call them back, but. Like I said, it was just very limited. And I get what you're saying, man. I mean, he is the man right now, first overall pick. But I did see a lot of good things from him on the tape that I saw. Route running and his feet work were precise. They did some drills where they were throwing the ball extremely low to the ground, and he was reaching down there and snatching it up. But again, he's in t-shirts and shorts and a helmet, not in full pads, but he showed me a little something. Did anybody stand out to you besides TJ?
TJ, I also, Donald Fulgham, the guy that got from Old Dominion, a 6th round draft pick. I was just saying he looked good, once he looked good at Old Dominion, and his college teammate who we signed as a unrestricted free agent.
Right.
Fergate, you know what I'm talking about. His teammate and older man, both those guys.
Right. I know you're talking about. I got you.
6'3", they both had 1,000-yard seasons their senior year. I mean,
Right.
I mean, you can't keep everybody, but there's going to be some interesting battles in training camp. And I feel like the rookie class, both the draft picks and the undrafted free agents. And like I said, I want to see these guys like to go up against veterans and play against real competition, you know, against games. And if it's a good thing that I think they're going to have a combined practice with the Texans and the Patriots, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll give some good competition as well as playing games against those guys. That's why I want to see the big 6'8" Donald Parham. I want to see him in the game, as I was hoping at least make it that far in the preseason. But they might bring him back. Who knows? Anything's possible.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the defensive coordinator. He's taking an interest into Giovanni Tave.
Right.
He was standing next to him in some drills. I saw some footage where he was kind of giving him some, I won't say one-on-one, but, you know, he was kind of giving him some encouragement and some guidance through some of the drills. So they know that some of the success is going to be built on how he performs. But, you know, and I saw something, Lions fans, that it's out there, and it's if you search it online, that if you look at the draft that hit it, and then article, the video was like history repeats itself. The draft that the Seattle had when they drafted Richard Sherman and all those guys in that defense, they said that was like one of the worst drafts. I think some people gave them like an F or a C minus or so, and like that turned out to be a really great draft class for those guys. So you can't put onus on a draft class right out the gate because you don't know how they're going to perform. You really have to wait 3 to 4 years really to grade a draft class. But, you know, don't get caught up in the big names because that's what happened with that. The Legion of Boom really got drafted in that draft class with Richard Sherman, and they laughed the draft experts really laughed Seattle out of town, and they showed them they won the Super Bowl twice. I mean, they were one play away from winning back-to-back titles.
Yeah.
So that's what we got for the rookie minicap. Now it's time to
defend the den.
All right, defending the den this week, we're going to talk about some free agents. So, Seany J, you up first. Free agents still out there. Lions still got some money on the cap with some smart spending in free agency to kind of leave some spending money out there. Who do you think is the best free agents out there that can fit with the Lions?
Well, let's see. There's still a few good guys out there. Obviously, the number one free agent still available are Marcus Weissman's Big Sue and Dominican Sue, the defensive tackle. Now, I suggested before, and some members of our group suggested maybe bringing him back, but the majority don't want him back. That's the way he left. And who knows if Sue wants to come back and play. I know I told you last month he recently bought a condo in Birmingham, Michigan.
Right.
It's kind of curious why we do that if he has no more ties or business to the area. It's a possible sign. Who knows what it means? I wouldn't mind having him back, but but like I said, you know, Sue can't expect to get top dollar from the Lions or any other NFL team because most of the money is spent already. He get maybe a little more than the veterans minimum at this point. And, you know, I'm surprising team this year. This is one of those cases where teams weren't banging down his door and he wasn't the top free agent like he was a few years ago when he went to Miami. You know, he's at the end of his career. So I think we get him for maybe just a little more than the veterans minimum 1 year. I would love to have Sue back. I know they signed another guy, Darius Hilgo, where his name was, the Broncos.
Oh, okay. The defensive tackle. The tackle?
Yes. Well,
I saw that.
Yeah, I still will like Sue. He doesn't have to be every down player like he used to be for us. He can rotate with Hand and Snacks and Ashawn Robinson. That'll be a good defensive line for sure. And I still like the rookie. Like I said, I love our rookies. I like the rookie we got in the 7th round, PJ Johnson on that size. He has big size, and so let's see what he can do in preseason too. So if we have to bring another veteran free agent in, I want to see.
I like Sue. I mean, I think the really thing to me, while a lot of teams aren't really beating his doors down, is that he didn't have a production. He got big money from the Dolphins. He didn't have a lot of production down there as he had Detroit. And then he went out to the Rams and got overshadowed by, and it's really, I mean, who wouldn't be Aaron Donald? I mean, Aaron Donald was the man out there. So he really, but Sue, he came on late in the season, but he just isn't going to command the dollars with his performance. And plus his age, he's 32. So, but I wouldn't mind him having. To me, the guy who makes sense in a position that we're lacking, he knows the scheme very well, and he's still out there, Jamie Collins. He fits the bill. He's that prototypical size for Patricia's defense that he likes to run. He's a big inside linebacker. He knows the system. He's only 29 years old. So, I mean, he really fits the system. So that's who I got. I like that pick for if he could, if you can get anybody in there, I think that's a good guy to bring in there. What do you think about that? About Jamie Collins?
Collins would be a good choice too. Once again, he's got that Patriot connection to Patricia and Quinn. They know him well. They like expatriates.
Right.
Know the system. I wouldn't mind him. He wouldn't be a bad selection. Once again, I'm biased. I still want to see a couple of our rookies like Trey Lamar and former Wayne State Warrior Anthony Pittman get a shot.
Yeah.
Maybe he can make the practice squad, but he wouldn't win now. Who knows? There may not be enough. There may be enough cash to sign both Sue and Collins. It's even tougher.
Yeah, they got some cap space out there. I don't have it offhand, but that's for another conversation. But yeah, I think those two guys would definitely fit the system. I mean, we'll see. I mean, we still need some wide receiver depth. I know you like the young guys, but I would still like a veteran to come in there. You still got Michael Crabtree sitting out there, and a few other players, but we'll see. And now let's talk about my man. Congratulations to Ziggy Ansah. Ziggy, my man, he signed a contract out in Seattle, kind of doing the Cliff Averill thing, leaving Detroit, going to Seattle, trying to find success. However, Cliff Averill went during the Legion of Boom era, and he was healthy when he went out there. Is that the same case with Ziggy Ansah? We know he has health problems and are already speculated to be out probably the first month of the season, if not longer. I mean, I wish Ziggy well, but to those people who wanted to have him sign back with a prove-it deal, I think his chances to prove it deal was last year with the franchise tag.
Exactly.
He had the opportunity to prove himself last year, and he was still just injured. I just don't see any long term because Cliff Averill was healthy when he went to Seattle, and he was a difference maker with the Lions and with the Seahawks. However, he had the best ability, which is availability, and you just ain't gonna get that from Ziggy. He's not. I mean, since his first couple years in the league, he's been hurt every year. So, what you got with Ziggy?
I like Ziggy. Was one of my favorite players, but I agree he can't, stay healthy anymore. As I said, this would be the perfect last year after giving him a max contract. We kind of had to do it after that all finish in 2017. 12 sacks. It was like the old Ziggy was back, and we just couldn't let him walk us. We let him walk. We would have been blamed for having a pass rush. We were kind of forced to sign him to that max contract. It was only for 1 year. Like I said, that was to prove it. They gave him $17 million last year. And
on the franchise side,
franchise deal. And once again, he was hurt. He only had about 4 sacks total last year when he was healthy. It was time. I don't wish him ill on Ziggy, but it was time for him to move on. Lions to move on. I mean, who knows if he miraculously gets his health and gets 50 sacks with the Seahawks in 2019? That'd be typical Lions luck, But hey, it wasn't like the Lions didn't give him a chance. And then they paid him well, gave him every chance they could. Sometimes you just got to say, hey, this is not working. It might work not working here. God bless him. No hard feelings. He knew, he understood. I think he even wrote a letter, to the fans, thanking them for their support. And the Lions, because he knew the Lions gave him every chance. They paid him. He made a lot of money here. He got a franchise deal. I mean, he should have no complaints of the way he was handled here in Detroit. It's a business.
Yeah.
They just didn't kick him to the curb. They paid him well to give him every chance. It just wasn't happening here. Who knows? He's in the end of his career. He's 30 years old now. Who knows if he can stay healthy? Next 2019 might be his last season. Who knows? He can't stay healthy. He might get cut again and never get another contract. But like I said, I wish Ziggy well, and the time was right to
Zig. Yeah, his time in Detroit was over. I mean, it was the writing was on the wall. I mean, they were drafting a lot of young players, bringing in free agents, and with the signing of Trey Flowers, you kind of knew he was done. So I just didn't see him coming back to Detroit. Looking at a few more guys that's out there in free agency that we maybe can bring in. You got Shane Ray. He's still out there. Young guy, 26. You got Deion Jordan, 29, a defensive end. So, and we've been linked to Morris Claiborne a couple of times. I'm not really sold on Morris Claiborne, even coming out of college. He actually reminds me of what's the guys, the Greedy Williams, that corner, but he lacks the physicality for as far as playing a run and a physical system that we want to play in Detroit. We want to, we want the corners to come up and tackle. Even with Darius Slay, and I know he's had a couple of shoulder stingers, but he's still willing to stick his face in there and stop the run. And that's the type of individual we want on the Lions. I don't think Claiborne fits that bill, but he's another big name that's out there. I think we're good at corner myself, but he's been linked in some of the talk on some of the blogs as far as free agents fit for the Lions.
And we got enough corners and safeties, don't you think?
I think so myself, but
like I said, they better make room for my boy Agnew. They better not get rid of Agnew, else I'll really be pissed.
I think Agnew being an all-pro punt returner, I think he's got a spot. I think he's good. I mean, I think he's good. I think he's got and I think hopefully Darren Bevel will actually continue to use him and gadget plays on the offense. So even if they use him as a decoy, I mean, he's something that he's a game changer with his speed. So hopefully that they'll continue to incorporate him in the offense going down the line. So now it's time for
2 points conversing.
All right, my 2 points conversing this week. We're going to go a little off topic, Lions fans. We're going to talk about some of these failed football leagues that in the past that were doing well and just came out the gate hot and kind of just really lost it. Shauna, you a little more historian than I. Talk to me about the AFL days and what you think about that.
Well, the AFL came out was started by a former Kansas City Chiefs owner, Lamar Hunt, in 1960 after he couldn't buy a franchise in the NFL. He decided to start his own league. And that is, and no other football league has been successful since the AFL, which lasted 10 years and forced a merger with NFL. They're getting top talent. They're sharing top talent with NFL, and it forced a merger. There's been several other attempts at leagues since then, like the WFL, the USFL, UFL, the XFL, and the XFL's come back in and try another hand again next year. But they all failed. They didn't get the fan support. They didn't get the attendance. I mean, it seems like the NFL, they can't mess with the NFL. And of course, the AAF We start off strong and get TV ratings. It can finish this season. I mean, because they like the money, the main investor kind of backed out, and the whole league collapsed. I think they did those guys dirty. And like I said, the XFL is going to try it again next season, 2020. It looks like Vince McMahon is trying to out no gimmicks about the XFL side. It's real football, and he's securing the bag, if you will. He's getting the money up from TV networks to show the games, so they can at least finish out their first season. It'll be cut short, but still with a famous like last time. But it's always this WWE, Vince McMahon's going to be fixed, just like wrestling. That's why I didn't watch it last time. I don't know the second time will be any better for the XFL or the same face any league try to go. Is it going to be like try to beat the NFL or be like a minor league and all into the NFL to develop some of their players who don't get much time? Similar to like with NFL Europa. Also, let's not forget about them.
Right.
That didn't work out.
Right.
I mean, the NFL almost have a monopoly.
Right. I mean, looking at the USFL, I did a little research on the USFL, and I mean, if you don't really know the story, the USFL was actually competing, and they were given the big contract. You look at the contract they gave Hersch Walker. They had Jim Kelly, Doug Flutie. I mean, they were getting the big name contracts. They were good. Yeah, they were good playing in the spring. However, our current occupant of the White House owned the New Jersey franchise, and he was trying to force a merger with the NFL. He did a lawsuit, took the NFL to court, and they ended up getting awarded like $1 or something like that, and they ended up folding. They were trying to move their league to the fall and try to compete with the NFL. I mean, the only successful league to do that was the AFL to play that same time frame, but it was big enough to where they forced a merger. There was never going to be another entity to force another merger like that with the NFL. Looking at the XFL, and this is one thing I didn't know, but there's a good 30 for 30 out there. You know that those guys only had a couple months, actually like a month to get prepared for the league. So with all the popular circumstance and the weird, like the scrum at the beginning of the game to get the ball to see who, that weird kickoff thing that they did, they didn't have the talent. One thing, except for the USFL and the AFL, all these other upstart leagues had one thing that was, to me, was an issue. They didn't have a good product on the field like the NFL does. Some of those guys didn't have the same talent that they have in college, and then the performances weren't there. People are gonna to turn and tune in to watch a sport. They want a good quality product on the field. So if you have subpar football, you're not going to really succeed. That's just my opinion. You're not going to get the viewership because they're going to tune out. People aren't going to come pay their hard-earned dollars to go to the game if it's a subpar product on the field. You get what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying exactly. And the AAF league was supposed to get good ratings. People watching, enjoying the games, but they lack the money.
Right.
Really like the money, and players once again they get paid for the last check. I mean, they're responsible for their own health care. You got hurt. I mean, responsible for going home, had to pay the whole hotel bills when the league folded. It was kind of a mess.
It was a mess.
Yes.
Yeah, with those guys, and I think I said before on one of the podcasts, is that the issue with those guys is that, I mean, and I used to do a little bit budgeting in the Army as my job, is that they had committed money, and people committed money, but they didn't actually obligate the money, which is give them the money. So committed money is saying, I put this money to the side for you, but they didn't obligate it. It's saying they didn't give it to them. So a committed money and obligated money is something. And the people who committed the money didn't follow through and give the money to the league. And that really, really hurt the financial. And that's what happened with a lot of the players having to pay their own way to get the last game checks. And I would have to say some of that product on the field was improving as the games went further. If you watch some of those AAF games, they got more competitive as the season went down the line. But there you go with the money aspect of it. So, they're not getting paid. They're not having per diem money for the players. That's hard. And they wanted the NFL Players Association to get involved to kind of give them some backing with the league to actually make them a kind of a minor league team. It doesn't happen.
Right.
It doesn't happen.
They want AF wanted to be partners with the NFL. They want to be like a minor league, give their players a chance to play, and a developmental league, if you will, like the G League and the NBA basketball. But
right.
The NFL won part of it. I mean, they didn't want to. The NFL could have bailed them out if they wanted to. They could have saved them if they really was interested in having them be a developmental league for them. They could have bailed them out, give them cash infusion, keep them going. Because people were watching. You understand? They were watching the game.
They were.
And they were going to the games too. Maybe man sells, but and their attendance is better than the UFL or the old XFL. And yes, because they were playing in smaller venues, which helped. I mean, they didn't try to sell out NFL bit. So they're playing in smaller venues.
Yeah, they're playing like a lot smaller college venues. I did see that. They were playing a lot smaller venues. They were. But I'm surprised CBS didn't bail them out because they were getting good ratings for spring football. Yeah, because even NFL, they were even broadcasting on NFL Network.
Exactly. Nobody wanted to bail them out. I mean, the NFL could have, they make a $9 billion a year industry. They could easily bail them out if they wanted to, but the powers that be, Roger Goodell and the owners didn't want to do it. So another one bites the dust. And I don't know how more successful Vince McMahon and the XFL will be the second go around. He said he learned from his past mistakes. He learned from other leagues' mistakes.
Right.
I don't know if another league could be a football league in the spring can be successful as the NFL. Because I think maybe part of the problem is once the NFL season's over, we miss it, but then again, we reached the climax, if you will, reached the height with the Super Bowl. People are kind of burned out, and they kind of need that break and get hungry for it. Nick, I'm hungry right now for the new NFL season, and I guess football burnout, if you will. You need a break from a while.
But to me, you really think about it. I mean, there's a break from the action on the field, but there's really isn't a break as far as the NFL has really monopolized so you come out of the Super Bowl and you get some a little break, probably about a good month and a half, and then you have free agency with the new league year, and then you have the draft, and then you have the workouts and the OTAs, and so it's really NFL year round, but it's not on the field year round because there's always there's no games year round, but there's always NFL's in the news all year round. You know what I'm saying? Except for that month and a half after the Super Bowl, because what do you right after that in March you have free agency and who's going to go where, who's going to get the big money, and who's going to so that's a big thing. And then next right after that is the draft.
Don't forget about the combine.
And then you have the combine, the combine. So it's always NFL throughout the year. So NFL really has monopolized the professional football market. And what does that say? They say we don't have to share. I mean, that's what they're saying. But we'll see how the XFL does, just because of the fact that they say they learned their lesson. So I think what they're saying that they're going to give these guys 6 to 8 months. So basically, they're going to start trying to get the teams together this year. So when it comes to the plan next year, that they'll be ready to go and you'll be able to put a better quality product on the field. So good luck to those guys. And for those attempting to start up this next league. Because I watch football year round. I'm a junkie, so if you give me football in the spring, I'm going to watch it. As long as it's a good product, and the AAF was a good product, it doesn't have the proper funding. So, let's my additional. What you got for the rest of the show, my man? You got any good tidbits for the fans?
Yes, there's a guy posted this. We talked about this last week when we were off the air, and I posted in the group a couple of times. This question: the right guard position. Somebody else made a poll who they wanted to start the right guard. Like I said, they got my man as a free agent. I still want Big Bone to be the starting right guard by the time the season starts in Arizona this fall.
Right.
I saw where you voted. You want the veteran, the survivor Kenny Wiggins.
Kenny Wiggins, yeah. I voted Wiggins.
10 cuts. He's been cut 10 times. He played in the old UFL. He said he got served a hot dog for lunch. I mean, so he know about the struggle to make it where he is. He doesn't have the highest PFF score. It's kind of low. When we signed last, you only have about 34.4 PFF score. You really can't always read into that either, but give me a reason why you want Wiggins to be the starter.
I think he played well. Even at the Chargers before he came to the Lions, I think he played well. I think he's a solid guy. I think he can help mold the young player. Do I think he's going to play the whole year at right guard? Maybe not. But I think he should get a shot to get a chance. I think he played well last year in the absence of TJ Lang. So I think give him a shot.
So you don't buy into that PFF scores?
No, I've never gotten to the that analytics is the end all be all. I mean, I like some analytics, but it's not the end all and be all of, because one thing the PFF cannot measure is heart and the will to win. So you can tell me whatever he scored against his arm length and his 40 time and his shoulder run and all these other stats and how he fared against this guy and that guy or whatever, this system or that system. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but I don't get into all that PFF crap. It's not the end all be all, because you can't, like I said, you cannot measure heart on a PFF score. And you can't measure a will to win. You can't measure grit and nastiness on a PFF score. I mean, that's just it. So, I like Wiggins. I like what he brings to the table. He's a good veteran presence. I think you can stick him on that right side next to what's my guy's name? That came from Baltimore. That's Wagner, Ricky Wagner. I think that'd be all right on that right side. I think the left side is good. We know the left side is good. So with the two young fellas,
and we sat up the middle with Graham Glasgow, Michigan.
Yeah, big Glasgow. That's my dude right there. So, but I say give Wiggins a shot. That's just me. So from my one thing that I think I want to leave everybody with this week, besides the stuff we talked about with the failing leagues, is my man, good thing today. If you haven't seen it yet, go out on Lions.com. The coach, Matt Patricia, he is turning away from some of that same old Lions stuff. He actually appeared this morning on Good Morning Football. I was shocked to see him do media outside of, Detroit. He was actually on the show this morning. He spoke with Preeti Schrager and those guys this morning, and he was actually I was like shocked to see him that energetic. It was early morning as well. So he was very amicable, very funny, very lighthearted on the show as well. They talked about origin of the putting a pencil behind his ear, and they just kind of coming up. And he said one thing that I really like. He said he wanted the Lions to be under the radar. He said, praise all the other guys. He said he didn't want the praise for the Lions. He wants, big up the other teams. He said, yeah, man, go ahead, Green Bay, and they're great teams, and Minnesota and Chicago. Yeah, man, they're great. because he doesn't want to. He wants people to. He wants to be the underdog, so we can show everybody what we got. So
sneak up on people.
Sneak up on people. So I mean, if you haven't seen it, go out on Lions.com and look at the video of Matt Patricia on Good Morning Football this morning on NFL Network. Good interview, very lighthearted, a different side of him that you don't see that often. So they talked about his upbringing in the coaching ranks. They even talked about his aeronautical engineering degree and the job he had. So it's really good stuff. You know, one thing, and most people don't know this, and I'll end my little Matt Patricia thing on this right here. If you go back and look at the draft and look at him and his attire, he had a dress pencil for the draft. You see that, man? Did you see that? Did you notice it?
I gotta go back and look at it now.
He had a black pencil in his ear for the draft.
Oh,
did y'all notice that? Every other time, his pencil is yellow, correct?
Yes.
He had a draft. He had a dress pencil. He had a black pencil in his draft. But I was like, he got a dress pencil in his ear for the draft. I was like, that's what's up. But most people probably didn't notice that. But if you go back and look at the tape, he had a dress pencil for the draft. I was like, Patricia is kind of stepping out. And they talk about coming into his own and kind of really, you know, how this offseason really set the table for him. And he's more getting better as a coach. He has his own system in now. So I just take a look at the interview this morning from Good Morning Football. It's on the Lions website. So you can go out there, the whole 7-minute interview. I think part of it's on Twitter. I think it's only like a 2 or 3 minute, but the full interview is on the Lions website. So you go on Lions.com or the app, mobile app, you can go out there and watch it.
Yeah, I got to check it out. Patricia, like I said, you know, those New England, former Bill Belichick, New England Patriot assistants haven't fared well, but I'm hoping Patricia definitely breaks that trend as well. Hopefully, you know, him and Quinn, you know, work together to really make succeed. Other Patriot coaches fail, we can succeed, you know, finally.
Yeah. Well, you got my man out there in Houston. He's doing okay. So,
O'Brien,
he's doing all right, man. And that's what he also talked about. You know, he's like, you know, being his own. He's like, you know, he's not going to run away from the Patriot stuff because that's, you know, part of who he is. But he's having fun, you know, building a Lions into a winning organization. That's what he wants to do. So.
And I'm sure that's all Lions fans. I speak for all Lions fans who back him on that.
Yeah.
But if I could say one more, you know, tip,
go ahead, man.
You know, it has something to do with the Lions, but I'm a big U of M fan, and that's the shock that the bomb that John Beeline dropped on us yesterday. No one saw this coming. No one knew he was having secret talks with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I am shocked as hell that he made that move at his age 66. Take a job with one of the worst teams in the NBA, post LeBron.
Right.
I thought he was going to stay in college, retire with the Wolverines, because just like Harbaugh, he was Reveries, all-time winningest coach. He can everything you want. You know, he can do anything you want, and he could do no wrong in Albert, like Tom Izzo up at State, or Michael Jesse down there at Duke, or being former North Carolina. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he had it made up, but he wanted to leave. He's surprised he left. Sure, he could have more money, but I mean, he can retire anytime he wants. I don't see him coaching more than 1 year or fired in the middle of the second year or something like that. Because you know how it is in the NBA. I'm surprised he made this move. I gotta say he's frustrated with the players even early. Like he lost 3 players this year, and the underbelly of college basketball being paying for recruits and the top recruits getting paid thousands of dollars, like the whole Arizona situation and the FBI investigation. But the NBA is shady too, and coaches, you know, it's like a rivalry on coaches. You know, you have no job security.
It was.
So I was shocked.
Yeah, Beeline is an interesting character. I just think that most people don't know that, you know, he's never been an assistant coach at any level. He's always been a head coach.
Yes.
Every stop he's ever had, he's been a head coach. So I think he's probably just want to try it. Hey, try to it's going to be tough going to a winning program at Michigan where he's had decent success, Big Ten championships, Final Four appearances, to a team where LeBron left and you have really like scraps on that roster. So I mean, but we'll see. I wish him all the luck. I just want to know. I'm interested to see who's going to bring in to kind of take that mantle because, he built to a successful program. He preached defense and fundamentals. So, good luck to John Beilein. I get you. I was shocked though this morning. I was shocked to hear that.
No one saw it coming. Nobody. He had secret negotiations literally under the table with Dan Gilbert and the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's what say that as far as Michigan goes, the front runners I keep hearing are Billy Donovan, Juwan Howard, and the Jew from Texas Tech. His name escapes you right now. Those are the front runners, but we'll see.
Okay.
It's my choice.
Yeah. All right, my man. For social media, telling people how I can get a hold of you.
Look for that handsome black guy on Facebook, Sean Jennings, and that's me.
All right. So for me, as you know, I'm Kurt Steele out on Twitter. I'm at Curtis Steele with an E 14, and the same on Instagram. For the show, for Twitter, it's at DieHardDenPodC1, and the email for the show is dieharddenpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. We appreciate your listenership. For the individuals that are here and abroad, we see you out in New Zealand, Japan, and Canada. Thank you for your listenership, and of course, all our diehard fans right here in the good old United States. So for Seany J, it's your man, Kurt Steele, Die Hard Den, and we out.